Welcome to The Direct Line, the official podcast for OADSP. We're excited to have you here with us today, and if you have comments, suggestions, or if you want to join us in studio as a guest, reach out to me at podcast@oadsp.org. I'm David Rustio, and today I'm talking with Bobbi Berkey. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, David.
How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I'm fantastic. I got to meet you and spend some time with you, and we got to laugh a little bit, so my day's good.
Okay, good.
So, Bobbi, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm 63 years old, or young.
So you're a kid?
Yeah, there you go. I live in Vermilion, Ohio right now.
Now, is that?
Vermilion is west of Cleveland.
Okay.
I don't know how many miles. I'm not good at that. But we're between Cleveland and Sandusky. And most people will know Vermilion because we're next door to Sandusky, which is where the big amusement park, Cedar Point, is.
Oh, really? How far is it from here?
Less than a half-hour drive, about 20 minutes.
Are they open today?
Maybe. It's Hollow weekends.
Oh, it is? Oh, yeah. Well, I can't afford those tickets, probably. Go ahead. Tell us a little more about yourself.
Sure. So I am one of six sisters. We grew up in Louisville, Ohio, and this will tell you how old I am.
You already said 62.
I know. When I was a young kid, we lived in a place called Maximo, which is near Louisville, and had farms on all four sides, and one of them still used a horse-drawn plow to do their fields. Yes.
Now, you didn't sneak over there and play on those things, did you?
No. I was not that adventurous. So.
I'm surprised with 6 girls that somebody didn't sneak over. But
no, we got in trouble if we climbed the trees, too. Dad wasn't fond of people climbing trees.
Yeah, so. Dads are never fun.
Nothing that'll hurt you.
Right.
But after high school, I went to college and I majored in special education. And the plan, of course, was to have a teaching job because you get summers off and weekends off, and that changed. That didn't ever happen. I never taught because I found something better to do.
Something better or something gooder?
Something gooder. There you go. Yeah, it was very much gooder. And that, of course, was working in the field of residential services for people with developmental disabilities.
So how did you fall into this role?
Well, again, because I'm old, the way I fell into it, I was going to Cleveland State University and needed a job. Mm-hmm. And I went to the student center, and there was a big bulletin board with little 3x5 cards. And one of them said West Haven Incorporated, and that they were in need of what they called in those days habilitation workers.
Sure.
And because I had taken a job out of high school as a nurse's assistant in a nursing home, mm-hmm. I thought I would maybe qualify for that position because it was direct care.
Sure.
And I applied, and sure enough, I got the position. So off of a business, that's how we used to do it, off of a little index card.
Exciting.
Yeah, it was.
So what was your first job in the industry?
I was the DSP. I worked on the overnight shift on the weekends.
Wake overnight or sleep?
Oh, no, awake. I had a home where 12 men lived, 12 adult men. Tell
us about that home.
It was actually one of the first group homes in the Cuyahoga County area. It opened in 1983. And we had 12 men that lived in one house, and then across the courtyard were 8 women who lived in another home. A lot of the people who lived in those homes in that time were coming directly out of the large state institutions.
Sure.
Yeah. And they were a lot of fun. It was challenging, but it was also a great deal of fun.
Yeah.
And some of those people that lived there in that home are still around, and we're still friends, and I get to see them periodically and reminisce. We always reminisce about the old days.
Right.
Yeah.
The first place I worked in the industry was as a home manager for a group home of, I think it was 6, but it might have been 5.
Okay.
It was a big home.
Mm-hmm.
It was 6, 4 women, 2 men. And they started there as children.
Really?
coming out of the centers.
That's cool. That's great.
I had them when they were adults.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them are still with us too, which is cool.
Yeah. It's funny, when I was in high school, my sister and I volunteered at the Special Olympics as helpers for the day.
Yeah.
And we got there late, as I get to everything. And so the person in charge kind of almost apologized, and she said, all we have left are the men between the ages of 40 and 70. And we said, okay. And she said, most of you guys want the young folks. And we said, oh, we'll do the guys. Ugh, best day. We had the best day ever. Sat under the tree and talked and had a good time and laughed. And great group of guys. And we were leaving, feeling really good. And everybody else was dragging themselves out to their cars going, oh my gosh, I'm so exhausted. That was so much work. And we're like, nope, not much at all. So there's something to be said for working with the adults.
Sure. What do you think you learned that day?
That day, I think I learned that people are people. And, it wasn't my first exposure to somebody with a disability. I had a family member, I had people at church and things like that. But, just walking into a situation and not knowing them, by the end of the day, you had a pretty good idea who they were, and they were a lot of fun.
Right.
Not all of them. There was one or two that were a little grumpy or not so happy to be there, but they're just like everybody else.
Really, they are.
Yeah.
I mean, people are people.
Mm-hmm.
I like to categorize everybody as developmentally different.
Yes.
So you and I are developmentally different from each other.
Mm-hmm.
And people all the way across the spectrum, that's how we are.
Right.
And so I don't see a difference.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's okay.
Right. Absolutely. And I think people are getting better at seeing that now than they were back in the 80s when I started.
Right.
There was often a fight to make sure people understood that. So,
well, I went through that with that home I was in. Some of the neighbors were not happy, but it didn't take long before they realized these are good people, and they're my neighbors, and they're probably lucky to have them as neighbors.
In many situations. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I kind of skipped a question earlier. I do believe you're employed, right?
I am.
Okay. Tell us who you work for and what on earth do you do?
So I am the program director at Welcome House Incorporated, which used to be called West Haven, but they changed their name, their operating entity. And as the program director, I have a variety of things I do. I oversee individual service plans, make sure that everybody has one and that they're meeting their needs. I'm very involved in problem solving and planning with a much larger team, but planning for individuals, especially if they have significant issues or needs or are having health issues, behavioral issues, whatever it might be. And I do a lot of business functions that include things like making sure that we stay certified so we can get paid, those kinds of things. And training. I do a lot of or at least have usually been involved in a lot of the training of staff.
What is your most favorite piece of that job?
Gosh, it's hard to say. I love training. But I also really enjoy the idea of, looking at a problem and finding a solution. And that can be very challenging and very fun. And sometimes it doesn't work out so well, but most of the time it does.
Well, we can cut this out if you don't want your employer to hear, but what's your least favorite part of the job?
I don't have a least favorite. I mean, for the most part, there's not a lot about my job that I don't like. I don't like delivering bad news, especially to families or to the individuals we support. And I hate disciplining staff.
Yeah.
So but I don't think, even people who are in management, usually that's not their favorite part. I don't think.
Well, let's hope.
Yeah.
That's a different kind of animal right there.
Right.
So tell me about a DSP that you think is really just gone above and beyond? You don't have to say their name, but you can. But
Well, we have a lot of examples of that at Welcome House. We're very fortunate. And I'm trying to think what job well done, what the last job well done I wrote was or something.
sometimes it's just little things.
Yeah, it really is. You know, I think one of the things is that we have a number of DSPs who will come in anytime, drop of a hat. And that's not something we expect every DSP to be able to do, but it means so much when they can. We have a gal she's worked for quite a while with an individual who lives at home with his brother. And, you know, that's a hard thing to do, to let DSP staff come into your home. And, you're giving up a lot of privacy and things. But these guys love her, and she has worked with him for, well, over 10 years for sure that I know of. And she came into work one day and discovered quite a mess. She said, I guess I can tell this story. She said it looked like a crime scene in the kitchen because there was blood everywhere.
Oh, no.
And the individual with the disability was in his bedroom, and the brother was nowhere to be found. It turns out his brother, who had gotten up to make a snack or something the night before, had fallen, and, maybe passed out and hit his head. And this gal, without blinking an eye, you know, do you want somebody to come over and help you? No, I got it. She took care of the individual. She cleaned up the mess. And the only thing she asked for was an hour to go run home so she could get some clothes and her medicine. And she came back and she buckled down for the next, I think, 4 days.
Wow.
3 or 4 days, and stayed with that individual at the house. There was just no question that that's what she needed to do.
Right.
And that, of course, you know, with his brother having an illness and being in the hospital, that was important that that this person had somebody in the apartment, you know, in the house, taking care of things, and somebody familiar to him. So otherwise he would have probably had to have left and gone to respite and then be in a house with people he doesn't
Strangers,
know.
yeah.
So that's just an example.
Now, did she get a gold sticker or
She got something. I don't remember exactly. We give away a lot of gift cards. She got an Employee of the Month award, I think.
Certainly.
Yeah, we do. We do a lot of that at Welcome House. So,
Is there any individual that you want to brag about?
my goodness. Well, that's even harder than the DSP question. You know, we have a lot of wonderful folks, and some I've become a little bit more friendly than the professional position. And one of the gals, her name was Donna. She won't mind that I told you. She tells me all the time she used to tell me all the time I should write a book. But Donna was an individual who may not have had an intellectual disability.
Okay.
She was, as we say, high functioning.
Sure.
Could not read. Read and dealt with that kind of thing a little bit like somebody with dyslexia.
Okay.
But she came to us after her mother had passed away, and she had been living with her father over the bar that they owned. And it wasn't working out real well. And so she came to one of our group homes, and this would have been in the mid-'80s, and had absolutely no desire to be in a group home. Did not see herself as disabled.
Sure.
She had worked at the bar with her parents, that kind of thing. So she put us through some ringers. She made sure that, you know, we weren't listening to her very well. And in those days, there was a lot of, you know, you have to live in the group home for a few years, and then maybe you can go someplace less restrictive. And she was like, no. So she did things like, one day we came downstairs after having given somebody a bath, and she, Donna, and two of the other individuals were nowhere to be found. Mm-hmm. And so my coworker and I go running around the house in a panic, and my coworker suddenly looks and says, I know where they're at. And sure enough, she walked out the door and down the street to the bar around the corner, and there they were. Donna had taken a couple of the girls down, and they were buying drinks.
Alrighty.
But she eventually did go to her own apartment, and it's a long story, but I continued to, you know, we maintained a friendship and would get together once or twice a month and have a meal together. And we had an employee that I worked with and who had become a friend who was having some very significant issues. And part of her problem was physically and mentally she couldn't keep her apartment, couldn't keep her home clean. Right. And so I would get these calls from my friends saying, you know, I'm going to get evicted if I don't get it clean. And I'd call Donna up, and she would come to the house and she'd be on her hands and knees scrubbing the bathroom floor.
Really?
Yeah, just, you know, whatever people need. She used to make great meals. She was, you know, and she always, she did come back to us eventually and live with us in one of the apartments in our apartment building. But she was always about taking care of somebody. Mm-hmm. She took care of her aunt till the end of her aunt's life. And she took care of her brother who had cancer. And she took care of my friend when she needed it. She was just always a caregiver. So she's one of my favorite stories.
I can't imagine why. So, Welcome House, what's the population they serve?
We serve adults with developmental disabilities. We tend to have an older group of people, partly because we were around in the 80s and people came to us as adults then. And it's everybody from, you know, individuals who don't need a lot of help. Who, you know, we just stop in a couple hours a week or give them a ride to the doctor's office, to individuals who have significant needs and, you know, might need to have staff with them all the time, maybe multiple staff. Right. So it's a wide variety of people. Okay.
So what would you say to anybody listening to the podcast today that is considering becoming a DSP? What would you say to them?
I would say try it because it is an amazing job. And it might not be a job that you'll want forever, partly because of the pay, obviously. But even if you only do it for a year or two, you will learn so much. And you will have a whole set of stories. You know, we always laugh about when we get together with people we used to work with, we start telling the stories, and it's because they're amazing. And amazing
the skills
things
transfer.
Happen. Absolutely. You'll learn how to do a great deal of things. You know, one of the reasons I chose the DSP job was because I thought it would be a good precursor to my career teaching. Sure. But it can also be a good precursor to your career as a social worker, as a physical or occupational therapist, a speech therapist, if you're going into psychology, any of those human services roles you will learn mega and you'll hone your skills doing what we do.
Even if you're going to be a manager at a place that doesn't work with
absolutely
the disabled, I mean,
you learn more about yourself. Right. You know, it's not a job where you go in and you just repeatedly do something. It's, you know, there's variety in it. There are challenges, but there's also a lot of things that are just fun to do. So,
Well, thank you, Bobbi.
You're welcome.
It was a lot of fun today. I'm so glad I got to meet you today. And I really hope that you had some fun too and that we get to meet again.
All right. Sounds good.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, and join us next time on The Direct Line.